Hey, bookish besties! Welcome to Caught Up Red-Handed Week 1, where we just do a little weekly update on what we've been reading, have a little chat about the books that we've been reading, what we're liking, what we're not liking, how things are going. It's a new year, 2026, so we've got this new format. I'm hoping that this weekly update kind of format helps keep me on track with actually being more consistent with talking to you guys. So hopefully that works out well for me and for you, and that you like this format. So we'll see how it goes as the year progresses. Now, it is early in 2026. Like, for a weekly update, we haven't had a week in this year yet, okay? We are not a full week into 2026. It's like late night Sunday, so we're like 4 days into the new year. So this first one, this little introductory into this kind of update doesn't have a whole lot for me to inform you of just yet, but we still have been reading and we have things that we can talk about, so it's all good. All right. So to start things off, my physical read that I'm currently working my way through, I technically had started at the end of 2025, but I had only read like, I don't know, 20 some odd, maybe 30 some odd pages at that point. So by carrying it into the new year, I'm very much considering it my first read of 2026, and that's Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I'm currently like halfway through, and at first I will say that I wasn't super invested. It's slow. Like, the story moves slow, the pacing is slow, and it's also slow for me to read, like, in the sense of pages per hour. I'm reading it slower than I typically read most books. So it's taken me a minute to get through it, but I will say, as I got further in, like by the time I was, let's say, like a third of the way through, I was invested in the characters, and some things have happened, and I understand a lot of people like cry when they're reading this. They say it's a very emotional read, and that's all I hear people talking about, is that it's an emotional read. You know what I don't hear anyone talking about is the fact that this book does not have any content warnings, and it probably should. Although, honestly, I don't know when content warnings in books first started to be a thing, because I feel like when I was younger, it was not a thing whatsoever. Like, that just wasn't a thing in books, and I tend to only really see them in romance, largely dark romance, but that's for obvious reasons. But is this like a romance specific kind of thing? Does it even happen in other genres? I'm not really sure. But I can tell you for sure that this book does not have them, and well, if you believe that books should have content warnings, then this book should have had them. You know, personally, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. Some people think content warnings in books can give you spoilers. I think that's kind of pushing the issue a little too far in terms of like, oh, tropes are spoilers and content warnings are spoilers, and I'm just kind of like, I can live with some spoilers, you know what I mean? Because for the number of people that content warnings are useful for, I think they can be good and there is a place for them. But I also don't really believe that they're necessary and that all books that have triggering subject matter should have them. I just feel like with the number of people I've heard talking about this book, the fact that nobody mentions just how triggering the content is, I find kind of surprising, because there is some seriously adult content, trauma, behaviors. There's some shit that goes down in this book, okay? Let's be so for real. And I'm only halfway. But I am at the point now where I am completely invested in the characters and the story and the town, because I would say plot, but let's be so for real, there's not much of a crazy lot of plot going on in this book. Although it is all leading up to something big. Because like, I would say it's the prologue of the book, but it's labeled as like one. So it's kind of like the first chapter of the book is basically like two sentences. So like, spoilers, if you think telling you about the first two sentences of the book are a spoiler, skip ahead like 20 or 30 seconds, all right? Because I'm gonna spoil it. Basically, the first like two sentences tell you about like how a teenage walks into the forest with a rifle and puts it to like another teenager's head and pulls the trigger. This is the story of like what led to that point, kind of thing. And then we're all just into this small town that revolves entirely around their hockey team. Their juniors are like on the way up, their A team, their blah 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 blah. Look, I'm getting lost in the layers of coaches and teams and stuff because I'm not a sports girly. All right, I might be Canadian, but I was never a hockey player. I can follow a game on TV, but beyond that, yeah, I'm not the hockey girl, right? So I get a little lost in terms of the GM and like the coach of the juniors, and then there's the A team. But I think there's another team below that or in between. I don't know. I don't know. But they've got like three teams or something. Anyways, they are going to like the semifinals at the start of the book, and then the expectation is if they can win the finals, it'll be huge for their dying small frozen town because they'll get like a hockey college that's going to be built, will likely be built near them, revitalizing the town, providing work. Like it's more than just hockey at stake for this game. But then we get to meet a lot of people in the town. So, like, some of these coaches and their, like, wives, partners, whatever. We also meet some of the players, some of the younger players who are only like 15 and their siblings or their, love interests. And then we've got some of the main players are like 17 and their siblings and friendships and relationships and love interests and fucking disasters. Oh man. Like the part I just read, trauma, serious trauma, and then drama after that. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty intense for like a small town story about young people playing hockey. This shit is intense, and I can see why people find it emotional, and honestly, I'm only halfway, and like I said, nobody talks about the trigger warnings that are not on this book. So, how much more trauma am I in for in this story? I don't know, but we're gonna find out because I am invested and I am gonna finish it regardless of the fact that it's a bit on the slower side. And then in terms of audiobooks, again, we're only a few days into the year, but I started the year with a short one, and honestly, I'm halfway, maybe 2/3 actually of the way through, and that's The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. And T. Kingfisher is known for having a lot of relatively shorter books, which is appreciated from time to time. This one I'm pretty sure is classified as a horror, and if it's not, it probably should be, though I will say I haven't been like bricking myself terrified or anything, but it's weird, alright? It's basically like the back rooms, okay? So this girl, well, woman, she's not a girl, but this woman is taking care of her uncle's museum of curiosities or whatever. She just had her marriage fall apart, or like, she's going through a divorce and she didn't really want to have to go live with her mother, but her prospects for where she was going to live were looking pretty grim until her uncle called and like asked if she would come help with his curiosities museum full of like weird, janky stuff and taxidermy and oddly specific religious items, and it's one of those kind of wacky emporiums kind of thing. And she had helped out at his shop museum thing when she was young, and honestly with no other prospects, and she's like a graphic designer, so in terms of her work, she's like a freelance. She can do it from wherever she's living as long as she has like access to her computer. So from that perspective, it's not really a big deal. So she's like, yes, obviously, yes, I am not going to go stay with my mother who I don't super get along with when I could stay with my cool, kooky uncle in this bizarre museum emporium place. Anyways, the uncle needed the help because of his bad back slash bad knees. The doctors believe the problem with his back is actually problems with his knees and they want to operate. So she convinces him to go ahead, get the operation. She will take care of things at the museum. She's cataloging all the items in like an Excel sheet and getting stuff like in line to actually know what they have and what they don't have. Anyways, so she's running the shop museum situation. One day she notices that some tourists coming through must have like stumbled their elbow into a wall or whatever, and they had driven like a big hole in the drywall. wall. And she was like, oh man, what the fuck? Like nobody even had the decency to come and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I like tripped or whatever. I put this hole in your wall. Like this sucks. She's like, I don't know how to patch anything bigger than like a little nail hole, you know? So she goes and asks the guy at the cafe next door. And he's like, honestly, he's pretty cool, the guy next door. He's like gay and friendly and helpful and basically like the only sort of friend that our girl seems to have made in this like small town since she came here, but he's totally down to like help with the drywall situation. He's like, oh, come on, I'm a master of patching a hole. Don't worry about it. I got this. So he comes over after he closes up the cafe to like give her a hand. And he's like, oh, this hole's a bit bigger than I thought it was. Like, I'm gonna need to find a stud to like drill into or whatever to fix it. So he's like shining his flashlight or his phone light or something in through the hole to have a look for a stud. And then he's like, girl, you need to have a look at this. Cause what? When they look in through the hole, they don't see like the inside of a wall. They see like a cement hallway. And she's just like, could this be like between our shop and the cafe? And he's like, there's not enough room between our shop and cafe for this. This doesn't make sense. Like, and she's just thinking, man, this place is so cluttered. There's no room. Like, there's more room here? How is there more room here? Could we have more room here? But it's like super dark, so they can't see how far it goes. And she's like, ah, fuck it. Make a bigger hole. Let's go investigate, you know? And he's like, well, if we make a bigger hole, I'm not going to be able to just patch it. Like, we're going to have to actually get some wallboard or whatever. She's like, just do it, kind of thing, you know? Like, the idea, the prospect of more space is appealing. So she's like, yeah, let's just go for it. So he does it. He busts down the wall or whatever and makes a hole for them to go through. But this hallway goes considerably further than they could see through the wall. So they go exploring down the hallway. They find like a big open room. Everything's cement. Makes no sense. They have gone far enough that they can't possibly still be like within the confines of the cafe or the Curiosities Museum. None of it makes any sense. In this room, there's like a dead body that's so much a dead body, it's more like a skeleton body. Yeah, they cuff his dad up, but there's also like doors, or at least a door that's like bolted shut, but like rusty bolted shut. She convinces the dude to like knock the bolts off because they gotta know where it leads, because it doesn't make sense. They should be like out over the road and nothing is adding up. So they go through that door, only before they go through they have to like get some tools or whatever. I might be misremembering the order of things a bit, but they end up back at their hole in the wall and it's all cement from like the side that they went into. But on the shop side or the museum side, it's like wallboard, like drywall, like normal wall. So when they're still on the other side, he's like, no, it just must look like cement. And he takes out his little pocket knife and tries to cut it. No, he cannot cut this. All right. This is like stone hard. This is cement hard. So he goes through the hole to the other side, cuts through the wallboard, no problem. And then when it falls down into the hole side, when it hits the ground, it's like 6-inch thick cement. What? Like, what? Craziness, craziness. Anyways, they end up knocking the bolts off that door and they go through the door and they're basically in like an island. They're on just like a random island on a river and they can see more of these little islands with more random doors. There's wisteria trees. Everything is crazy and the story goes from there. And let me tell you, the horror also goes from there. So we're basically like, I'm gonna say it's like portal fantasy horror. All right, alternate dimension type horror. And it is crazy. All right, like I said, I'm probably like 2/3 of the way through this one and it's pretty short, so in all likelihood I will finish that one very early in the week. Now, going forward in these kind of weekly reading updates, I was thinking that we might like use our spinner wheel from previous months when we made monthly TBRs and just do like a couple spins to get some possibilities for the week ahead. However, it's so early in the year that I haven't redone those wheels with, like, say, my 26 for 26 yet or anything like that, any new goals or anything I need to change on it. And also, I'm only halfway through Beartown and it's reading slow. So I don't want to make some TBR type picks for the week if I don't think I'm going to get to them. And in all likelihood, I feel like it's going to take me most of the week to get through Beartown. So there's that. As for audiobooks, well, I'll definitely be finishing The Hollow Places soon. So what audiobook will I be listening to after that one? Unsure. Unsure. I'm supposed to be doing a buddy read of Tenders the Flesh, I think that's what it's called, with someone in January. We haven't specified a date, and I don't physically own that book, so there's a decent chance I'll be doing that one on audio as well. So maybe I'll reach out to the person I'm supposed to be buddy reading with and see when they want to read that, and maybe that'll be this week, maybe it'll be the following week. Who knows, but that's the book we're supposed to buddy read in January, so that's a possibility for my next audiobook. Another option for something that I will hopefully be reading this coming week. I want to start reading the monstrous graphic novel compendium that I picked up in December. It's huge. Like, I mean massive, but I'm pretty sure it has like 8 or 10 volumes of the graphic novel in it, and that's why it's massive. So it's broken down in the compendium in chapters, and if I'm not mistaken, it has either like 48 or 50 chapters. And when I looked at that, I was like, oh, perfect. We'll do like a chapter each week, maybe on the weekend. Yeah, it's late Sunday night, and I didn't get to a chapter this weekend, but that's okay. Maybe I read the chapter before I go to sleep, or maybe I just read it during the week or something. But I would like to start that in the coming week. But yeah, when I give you an update next weekend, hopefully I'll be in a better position and maybe we can spin those wheels and get a little bit of a TBR vibe going for the week. But yeah, Happy New Year, bookish besties! I'm so glad to be back with you guys again for another year of reading. Let me know down in the comments, what book did you start your 2026 off with? Was it good? Are you liking it? Did you hate it? Have you already finished it? Just let me know in the comments. Let me know what your favorite book from 2025 was. Maybe it'll inspire me to pick it up sometime soon. Who knows? But like the video if you like the video and subscribe for more bookish content to come in the future. I'd love to have you here as we go into another week of reading, and I'll catch you next time for Caught Up Red-Handed Week 2. Bye-bye!